Hey guys, Parker and Tom here with Epic, and we are inside this super cool exercise room that we just recently finished here at the Bowdoin Office Park.
Wonderful, yeah. And I think, Parker, if you want to start by talking through the design of this space and the intention of our clients and how that came to be.
Sure. So this exercise room, a couple of things were super intentional about it. Bring in a ton of natural light. Make sure that the ceilings are tall, so we did a really cool vaulted ceiling with some monoplane trusses, and then we incorporated a sauna as well. I think a unique feature for sure of the sauna itself is definitely lends itself to the Scandinavian design. We have some really cool mitered benches as part of the sauna design. We have an entrance into this exercise room that brings you kind of back into the main lobby space with the beamwork door opening and custom cut glass as you get into this exercise space. It's got a really cool shower space, again, that lends itself back to that Scandinavian design. So it's just really like, there's so many parts of this whole building, I think, that bring itself back to that natural Scandinavian design.
I think the word that comes to mind for me is intentional. I think this space is intentional. The ceiling heights are intentional. The use of, having like a stretching area over here, equipment right next to us and behind us, more of like a free weight, maybe more for mobility space behind the camera here. With that ceiling height, we were able to add more natural light behind us, like an extra stacked row of windows. And then, as Parker mentioned, just that vault to create like maximum volume in this room. So you never feel like you're in a closed in space as you're working out. It's much more inviting from all aspects. And then the other features that Parker mentioned really tie a cohesive feel throughout the space. So the wrapped doorway as you walk in lends itself to the beamwork that you also see in the front lobby of the office building, and it just really is intentional and well thought out from beginning to end.
And I think that points back to our process and just making sure that we're involved in the actual design process and helping people to bring their vision to reality.
Hey guys, it's Tom and Parker here to talk through some features in this conference room, very unique to this building. We're in the Knutson Companies' new office building. Again, we're standing in their conference room. Gonna show you some features which I would probably argue are maybe my favorite features in the entire building. They really just connect this space or differentiate it depending on the purpose of the time of meeting or the time of day.
A couple of the features Tom is talking about. So we do a lot of screens on the outsides of homes quite often that are integrated into a track system. This is another interesting screen system that we just put in. It tucks away nice and neatly up into the suspended ceilings. But if you want to have a meeting and have some privacy, you can put this down, and if not, you can lift it up out of the way, and you still have this beautiful Marvin accordion door behind it. And the interesting thing about this is that this isn't just a beautiful glass door, even though it is, but it's an accordion door. So if we want, we can really join these two spaces if you're having some sort of event inside this space. Obviously, we can incorporate the two spaces.
Yeah, and I think it really just goes to showcase, again, from the residential and the commercial standpoint, this is very unique in a commercial setting, but the flexibility of this space is incredible. Whether you're having a private, intimate meeting here or more of a social event where you want to connect these two spaces. And then on the residential side, we do see this quite frequently too, where maybe you're in like your kitchen, living, dining room and you want to open up to a deck or a Four Seasons room or a patio outside. Really, it's the same uses of elements, just incorporated a little bit differently. But how simple it is also to transform this space. Mm-hmm. It's the click of a button for that screen, and Parker and I can show you here in just a second how this door system opens up. It's truly, truly simple to do.
And then this door system will slide all the way completely out of view, and then these two spaces will be joined together. And I think if I had to speak to anything that I think is really important, not only about this door system in general and incorporating these two spaces, which is really cool, I think it's how this gets integrated from the design build process. When we as builders are involved in the initial design, I I just think we're able to incorporate features that give things a truly unique feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it goes from those initial conversations process through implementation. I think of during construction, there was a big trough here where the concrete was knocked out. So that could get infilled for the track to be laid in for this door. And just knowing those steps that come ahead from the initial planning standpoint through implementation, when we are involved, it's very helpful for the outcome to be fantastic.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting too as builders is that I think we enjoy being part of the actual design process, the initial plan, drawing process, and I think that we have a lot of valuable insight that we can add as part of that process for our clients.
Hey everyone, welcome to this beautiful conference room that Parker and I are standing in. You'll find this conference room in Knutson Companies' new build. We just completed this project in the Bowdoin Office Park. It's a fantastic spot. If you ever get the chance to come in here, check it out, you definitely should. I'll turn it over to Parker right away just to talk about maybe some of his favorite features in this space. We'll get in through a little bit of our process with this room specifically and just really take you on a quick little tour.
Guys, one of my favorite features inside this conference room is just simply this beautiful conference room custom built table that we have. The bases are actually a round timber dowel system that we got from Wood Veneer Hub. Also some Wood Veneer Hub materials up on the ceiling. Those are acoustical panels. We did some unique stuff with the HVAC system so that it still operates. So there is some air dumping through this Wood Veneer Hub
panel system.
Yep. And we removed the acoustical panel from the backing of it just for HVAC purposes in a couple spots. But the cool thing is that it hides all the HVAC vents so that it gives it a really clean look. Back to this conference room table. So we wanted to make sure that the seams in this table, which is too big for a simple single slab. So we moved the seams to the outside edges so that when you walk in here and you look at just the general size of this conference room table, the center of it doesn't have any seams. So we have a full slab at the center, and then the last couple feet is seamed, but it definitely draws your eyes away from where the seams are, which is definitely a good way to do it and leads itself to a really cool look.
Maybe you can speak to some of the clients' requests for this space as far as maybe like noise and light and how we incorporated that into the build, and talk about maybe some of those specific features.
Yeah, so pre-construction, our client Cam, he wanted to make sure that we did a sound masking system in a couple areas, and the conference room was one of them. He has a lot of meetings inside this conference room. He wants to make sure that while he's in here, he's not hearing the noise from outside the conference room. So this white noise system gets implemented, but I think it maybe seems odd, but you put the sound masking system inside the room that you want to hear less stuff from outside the room. It'd be tough for you guys to hear on camera, but when you turn the sound masking system off, you realize how much acoustical value I think it brings into just help canceling noise that's coming from the outside.
There's an obvious and definite difference when the machine or the masking system turns off. It's night and day difference. Yeah. It really is.
Another really important aspect, I think, to working with Cam on this building was he might have a little bit of an addiction when it comes to lighting. He really cares about lighting. He cares about natural light. He cares about the lighting system. And we actually ended up doing a color tunable lighting system from Cooper that allows all the lights throughout this building to be color tunable. So Tom's actually messing with the lights right now. He's, I think, raising it up to 6,500K in terms of color. And then we can go all the way down to a 3,000K light, which is a much more residential feeling light. So depending on the time of day or the event that you might be having at home or at work, or in this case, in this office space, you can tune the lights to whatever time of day it is or whatever type of event you're having, which is a really cool feature in this building, I think. Tom, if you want to speak a little bit towards, so like during the actual build process, how does that information get captured, and how do we implement that into our process so that our clients ultimately are having us price what's important to them?
Yeah, I think we do and we intentionally spend a lot of time listening to our clients, asking correct questions to get answers out of them that are meaningful for what they're intending each space to be used for. This conference room is a prime example of that. that, the sound masking, the tunable lights. And so we'll just track all of those conversations, listen well to our clients to help them implement throughout the construction process exactly what it is that they're after in each space. So the function of that space matches what their intent was up front in the process.
And then how does that information correlate to the pricing that we give our clients?
Yeah, so I would say that our pricing is as transparent as possible. Our clients do see every single invoice, every single bill, every single estimate. There's nothing that we hide from them. And so up front, what that means is as we're bidding out a project, we'll have an invoice or an estimate, we'll have an estimate up front for our clients that would show this sound masking system is gonna cost X dollars. Then they can make that choice as to how they're going to spend those funds, if it's important to them and they want to or not. And then as that gets implemented, they'll see that final price show through on their project cost. Hey everyone, it's Tom and Parker from Epic again. We're here at the Knutson Company office in their main lobby space. It's an incredible space. We're excited to share it with you. I'll turn it over to Parker. Maybe if you just want to speak to kind of what the feel of this room is,
Sure.
That'd be fantastic to start.
So as part of this office development, what's really interesting about it is that it kind of has a theme, and the theme is Scandinavian. And that definitely, you'll notice that on the outside of the building that it has a Scandinavian feel, and then on the inside, it certainly carries that into some elements as well. So I just want to talk about just what it feels like inside of this lobby, which has a ton of natural light, a lot of borrowed glass from all the offices to this main lobby, from the main vestibule into this lobby. A lot of really unique features. I'll just talk about a few. This island has a really cool waterfall edge. So a miter-fold waterfall edge on this island. A lot of the wood tones in here are all white oak. Our borrowed glass has a really cool detail from the offices to this main lobby space. There's really no spacing in between the glass panels, which gives it a really clean look. We have a floor-to-ceiling fireplace that's beautiful natural stone and kind of a smeared white mortar look. Then we have a floating open staircase. So there's just a ton of features packed into this.
Yeah,
and into this space.
It's really hard to explain in words just what walking in the front door of this space feels like. It's just a grand entrance, truly beautiful. It's an incredible space from the fireplace behind us, the beamwork up in the tall vaulted ceilings. It really is just like a grand feeling space as soon as you open the front door.
Yeah, so this, the architecture of this lent itself to doing vaulted ceiling from front to back, and then we integrated some really cool white oak beamwork up in the ceiling. And then we also did some really cool LED multicolored lighting that shines up the pitched vaulted ceiling, so that if they are having an evening party or other events here, you can really set the mood depending what type of event you're having in this space.
Yeah, so essentially that uplighting on the pitch or the roof, how does that come to be in our process, or who makes that decision? When does that idea come about?
Sure. Again, one of the client's main focus in this building was lighting was very important from start to finish. So.
Yep.
We looked into a couple different options at different price points, and finally we found one that was suitable, I guess, and we were able to incorporate that feature, which I think added a lot to this lobby space of this build.
Construction standpoint, one thing that often may get overlooked unless you're involved in the industry is, so that track with that uplighting, how many trades, how many different people are involved in implementing that from start to finish?
Oh, a lot. So interestingly enough, we wanted to make sure that the track system itself of the LED lights was essentially almost hidden. But then the track system also gets installed, 30 feet in the air. So we had our framers string line it so that it ended up being perfectly straight. We have to have drywallers essentially texture the outside of it. The supplier was actually from a signage company, and then electricians have to install it, and obviously we have to coordinate it. So
perfect.
There's a lot of moving parts, I think, to a lot of really unique features in every build, and it's probably something that's pretty overlooked. Somebody thinks that if you're going to do this, just one person shows up and does it, and I think that's very seldom the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that normal? I think in a custom build, maybe you can speak a little bit to, like, is that normal? Because I think sometimes if someone's just used to building one style of home or commercial building and this is how they do it, when we get off track from that, or when they get off track from that, the answer is always, it's gonna be hard. Is that normal for Epic's process and for Epic's clients to think outside the box and implement new things?
It is normal to look outside the box for us. I would say, generally speaking, we will never tell our clients no, and we will help them find the products and trades and unique features that they want to incorporate into their build. And I think the part that we assist them in and the part that we're good at is essentially coordinating and overseeing the work to make sure that it gets done and implemented the way that customers are anticipating. And then I think our internal process also lends itself, because I think something that would probably, from a client perspective, that would get overlooked is that if you want something to truly turn out exactly the way that in your mind it's looking, and then you provide us maybe a photo, we really can't build something off of a photo. So we take your photo and in-house, we'll turn that into an actual CAD drawing so that we can build it. And then you as a client, you would sign off on that CAD drawing. And then we build it exactly as it's shown on the CAD drawing, so that what you think you're getting as a client and what we think we're building for our client are the exact same thing, so that there's no discrepancy in terms of
Absolutely.
finished
and I think
product
just to add on to that would be like the level of detail that it takes to do a truly custom project. Like, there's just an incredible amount of detail that goes into that. And without that detail, without having those conversations, a lot of information and a lot of the finished product can get kind of lost in translation as to, here's my inspiration photo, but you guys built this. We need to have a discussion. That really doesn't happen, because along that journey, we're navigating those waters with our clients to ensure that we're implementing exactly what it is that they have in their minds. So
I think another detail inside this space that would really speak towards that is the awesome floating staircase. I mean, I can't tell you how many CAD drawings we have of the staircase to make sure that not only does it meet commercial code, but it's exactly what the clients are expecting before we build it. So, I mean, there's a lot of different renditions, which we share with our clients, so that when we do get a final approval, and then we have conversations on site with our trades, that there's no discrepancies, and it turns out exactly how people are expecting.
Yeah, and I think just setting that expectation is crucial for the end result, from the client, from us to our subcontractors. Just setting that expectation and showcasing exactly what it is that we're out to accomplish together.